Here's your daily Tottenham news and transfer window update with me, Harry Scarfe, football content creator, YouTuber and football writer. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be providing you with the latest Tottenham news by going through one or two articles and really dissecting and unpicking them. I think this is critically important. If you're new, please do like and subscribe. So I've chosen an article from the Express which stood out to me because the headline is "Managing Tottenham as Eberechi Eze transfer hijacked and £25 million star snapped up," written by Charlie Gordon first thing Sunday morning. So it starts off by saying Tottenham have been steadily going about their business this summer. With less than a month of the window remaining, they may now want to kick things up a notch. A serious looking pre-season injury for James Maddison has shaken things up, and it now seems likely they will go after another attacking midfielder to compensate. Thomas Franklin's recruitment team may also move from an experienced centre-back after the injury woes his predecessor Ange Postecoglou went through last season. With further incomings and outgoings likely, Express Sport takes you through how they would manage Tottenham's squad ahead of the season. So goalkeeper and defence, it says, in Guglielmo Vicario and Anton Kinski, Frank already has two capable options between the sticks and he is well stocked at fullback. Don't agree with that. There was rampant speculation around Christian Romero's future at the start of the window, but it now looks like he will stay and continue his centre-back partnership with Mickey van der Ven. Spurs have signed young defender Kojo Takai from Casadale Frontale and welcomed teenager Luka Vuskovic this summer, but they could do with another senior option, particularly given the amount of football Romero and Van der Ven missed last season and the fact Radio Dragosin is still working his way back from a long-term injury. Coney De Winter is a name that has been linked to Tottenham throughout the window. The Genoa star is only 23, but he's already a full Belgian international with 2.5 seasons of Serie A experience under his belt. Other clubs are also following De Winter, who is thought to be available for around £25 million. Midfield. The arrival of João Palhinha on loan from Bayern Munich with an option to buy has drastically beefed up Trank's deep-lying midfield options. Yves Bissouma and Pape Matar Sarr will compete for minutes along with Lucas Bergwijn and Archie Gray. Rodrigo Bentancur is also in the equation. The Uruguayan is in his last year of his contract, but Frank has talked him up as a key player, which may serve as a call to action for the club's hierarchy to begin talks over contract extension. Options in the number 10 position will need to be tweaked following the Maddison's injury. Dejan Kulusevski would step in the role under the circumstances, but he's had a knee injury since May and will not be fit for this weekend's Premier League curtain raiser as things stand. New signing Mohamed Kudus can operate behind a striker, but a real statement of intent would be to try and hijack Arsenal's move for Eberechi Eze. I totally agree with this. Spurs have a long-standing interest in the Crystal Palace playmaker, and nipping in ahead of their local rivals would make a bombshell signing even more satisfying. Just what I had to say about that. Attack. Dominic Solanke is set to start the season as Frank's first choice striker after netting 16 times across all competitions last term. Matthias Tell will provide backup while also being able to play out wide, and Kudus can also play up top. Son Heung-min is heading to LAFC and leaving a gaping hole in the squad, but Tottenham may feel they already have enough to cover as Kudus, Tell, Kulusevski, Brendan Johnson, and if they sign him, Eze can play on the flanks. Frank also appears to have taken a liking to Wilson Odobert during pre-season. The only thing that could jolt Spurs into life is the departure of Richarlison, who would likely fetch a decent sum in the market. So that's what they had to say about the Tottenham attack. That's what they would do to the defence, the midfield and the attack, and that is the end of the article. Really interesting here, and I think generally Charlie Gordon has a very good understanding of Tottenham. You can see that with this article. There are some bits I agree with in terms of fullback. He says that fullbacks were good. I mean, I'm happy with the Doggy and Porro. It's a really strong back line, but we don't have competition for a Doggy spot at left back. I like Davis, brings a lot of experience to the dressing room, but he shouldn't be in competition for minutes for me. I think he will get a lot of minutes under Frank, to be crystal clear. I think he will, but I don't think that's right. I think we should be someone, signing someone like an Anthony Robinson from Fulham, who is arguably probably better than Doggy and offer a serious competition for a Doggy. I really like a Doggy, really like Porro. They need to be kept on their toes. Jed Spence is one full back, can play right or left side. Still don't know what his best position is, to be totally honest with you. I know he's naturally a right back. Let's say he's a right back, then you need a left back. If he's a left back, you need a right back. That has to be the way of looking at it. I'd like a centre back, but I think Charlie Gordon's completely forgetting we have Danso and Luka Vuskovic, who looks, maybe further along his development than people think. And Draxin, I do forget that. Yes, it is a long-term injury. Of course, a centre-back would be nice, but it absolutely should not be a priority. A priority should be getting that number 10. A priority should be adding quality in forward positions. See, Charlie Gordon's looking at this a bit blind, if you ask me. The article for the Express is looking at it and just going, yeah, but Tottenham have the numbers in the wing, but all those players he listed, they're not good enough. We don't have the quality, we just have the depth. I agree with him on the goalkeeper situation, the midfield situation, but very naive about when he's talking about Matthias Tell, because I don't see Matthias Tell as a striker, I see him as a winger, so I simply don't agree with him on that. I think that again, that's maybe he hasn't watched Tottenham as much as it maybe came across at the start of the article. Yeah, I agree with the Solanke first start striker, but I think he's right in terms of saying nothing drastic will probably happen unless Richarlison leaves the club, rightly or wrongly. So it's a good article. I think there's some bits that are fundamentally wrong, like I said, the fullback situation and Matthias Tell's position, but that's just how I personally feel about it. The next article I want to read is from the boy Hotspur. Actually, no, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to choose the one from TBR Football. I'm going to choose instead, because I've just seen that. It's just come up since coming to record this. And that is PSG was scared that £56 million Tottenham player would sign for Tottenham Hotspur, but he didn't want to join Spurs. That's taken my eye. I didn't expect to see that. It says Tottenham Hotspur haven't done enough in the transfer window. Spot on, like TBR Football already. North Londoners have turned Matthias Tell's loan into a permanent deal and have also signed Mohamed Kudus and Kota Takai. Thomas Frank needs much more help across multiple areas of the pitch, but for one reason or another, Spurs are not close to signing anyone at the moment. Tottenham did have an interest in one Premier League defender, but he's now on his way to join a different club. PSG was scared that Tottenham could hijack that Ilai Sabani deal. Ilai Sabani was a fantastic player for Bournemouth in the 24-25 season. The Ukrainian international's performance were overshadowed by Dean Huson's brilliance, but he was just as good for the now Real Madrid star. After his excellence under the Andre Iraola season, a number of clubs had an eye on the 22-year-old centre-back. TBR Football revealed in June that Liverpool and Chelsea both liked Sabani, while in July we broke that the news that Tottenham had made an approach to sign Sabani. L'Equipe have now claimed that during negotiations, decision makers at PSG feared that Spurs or Newcastle United could hijack their move to sign the Bournemouth defender. However, Sabani had made up his mind. He had no interest in joining Tottenham or Newcastle. He only wanted to join PSG this summer. That was crystal clear. TBR Football confirmed that PSG are closing in on signing Sabani for a fee close to €65 million, which is about £56.3 million in the coming days. This article is purely about Tottenham. It goes on to say Tottenham are at risk of more injuries. Frank's system doesn't demand the same kind of intensity that Tottenham were forced to deliver under Ange Postecoglou last season. However, the North Londoners will be playing more intense games in the upcoming campaign because they'll be in the Champions League. Takai is the only new defender to arrive at Hotspur away this summer. He's currently injured, as is Radi Dragusin, who's been out for months. Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven's injury history is not great either, which leaves just Kevin Danso and young Luka Vuskovic. Entering the new season with only these options is far from ideal. Making the likes of Romero and van der Ven play every game will only increase their risk of injuries, and Spurs could end up in the same situation they were in last season. That would be a disaster. Do you know what? That's a really good article, actually, and it makes me think that maybe we do need it. I'm not saying, I've never said we don't need a centre-back. I'm just saying I think we should prioritise that areas first. But when I think about it, it does feel like we need to prioritise it more. I don't think Davis is considered a centre-back in this Frank system. I think it's just more a case of it was, Ange Postecoglou system, and with the inverted full-backs really high as well, playing almost in midfield, it just didn't suit Ben Davis at all, didn't suit his game. So we need to do a lot more, because at the moment Thomas Frank has been set up to fail. So centre-back would be nice. Sabani I like, but I can understand why Tottenham didn't go for him, because as much as I want strong centre-backs, you have Romero and Van der Ven, you've got to have someone who's going to be having to sit on the bench a lot of the time. But then you've got the problem of, if we keep Vuskovic, which we probably will, I think we will, and Dragusin returns from injury, then all of a sudden we have got quite a bit of depth with Dragusin, Danso and Vuskovic, but one more would be nice, because two of those centre-backs I just mentioned, well, one of the centre-backs I just mentioned in Dragusin is injured, and another would be Takai, who's injured, who I'm sure would go on loan if he wasn't injured. So those are your two Tottenham articles, really interesting both in different ways. Get involved in what you've heard and what I've said in the comments below. Thank you very much. And as always, constructive feedback in the comments is much appreciated. Again, just a gentle little reminder that I do a lot of videos, several and hundreds over the course of a week for Chris Callan and other YouTubers, including myself. So I will not tolerate comments that say I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not good at what I do. I know I'm good at what I do, but I'm always open to constructive feedback on how to improve this video series and things you'd like to see, because I think your opinion is very, very important and it's absolutely valued. But thank you very much for watching. I'm Harry Scarfe, football content creator, YouTuber, football writer, 16 years of age and an advocate for autism. Please follow me at Harry Scarfe32 across all socials. I also have my YouTube channel, Harry Scarfe, which contains my own Tottenham podcast within, called the Scarfe Spurs podcast, available multi-platform, also part of the Park Lane podcast team, and also the Spurs Kings TV team as well. And I also write football articles, as I said there, and I write them for two companies, Youth FC and also Attacking Football, so please do check out my articles. But for now, a massive come on you Spurs. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe to the channel, and thank you Chris Callan for letting me talk to you today. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for more videos and shorts.